Welcome to Pumpkin Snatch. It's our Let's Talk. Part 2 of our Darklord series. This will probably be the final one. When I made some cards yesterday for the Darklord video, I got some interesting comments back. And so we have some new ones here, as well as updates on the previous one. If you guys are interested in seeing the original video, I'll be sure to link it in the pinned comment below. But for now, let's go ahead and get into this. And if you guys like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. I really want to hear your all's thoughts. And if you have your own ideas, I would love for you to submit your own cards over on my card idea Discord page. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got here. So I have this one here, Darklord Abigail. And a lot of these cards, guys, like I mentioned already, are based on really trying to fix Darklords, as well as making them a little bit stronger, so they don't have to rely on other archetypes, okay? So we have our girl here, Abigail, level 4 Dark Fairy. We go down here to her effect and her attack, 18, right? While you control this face-up card, all monsters on the field become a Dark Fairy monster. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can shuffle one level 8 or higher Darklord monster from your graveyard back into the deck. Then you can add one Condemned Witch and one Witch's Strike from the deck or graveyard to your hand. So, I wanted to tie this back to the other lore with Darklords, the Condemned Witch story, and I think this is a good way to search her out, as well as search out the Witch's Strike card that's connected to this story. Obviously, if your opponent knows what it is, they're not going to want to run into it, but just the idea of you having that card should make them a little bit more scared. And that's the whole point here. So it's a fun level 4 monster, and with Condemned Witch, she can search this out, as well as other cards too. So now we come here to Darklord Skyfall, a level 7 dark monster, fairy monster. He 2400 attack, 2500 defense. During your main phase, if you only control Darklord monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, you can send one Darklord spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. And so it's kind of like the Okaback, but just for spell and trap. And since you can special summon it, it's really convenient to always have a Darklord on the field. One with the shuffling ability, their main little stitch there. So just pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy. Just you have to control a Darklord monster to play them. And so I wanted to make sure these cards mostly work around just Darklords, and so people don't have to rely on splashing other cards, other engines just to make this deck work, you know? Alright, moving on. We have our Darklord Punisher with a level 9 Dark Fairy monster, 2900 attack, 2100 defense. Once per turn, while you control this face-up card, your opponent must send one card from their hand or field to the graveyard to activate a card effect. Non-fairy monster effects cannot be activated in either player's graveyard. So this one's kind of funny. It kind of switches the Darklord effect on your opponent, where you have to send a card, from your hand or field to use their trap cards or some of their monster effects. So it's kind of funny that now they have to deal with that. And it's only once per turn, so it's not like it's the end of the world for you guys. But again, it's a strong card, it's really convenient, and I don't think this has a special summon ability, so just sending a card. And then the cool part is, any non-fairy in the graveyards, they can't activate their effects, so it's a little nice soft floodgate as well. So I really like this guy. Alright, on to the next one. We got Darklord Forgotten Maiden, level 4 fairy, 100 attack, 2000 defense. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a non-fairy monster from their extra deck, you can banish one Quick Play Forbidden spell card or one Witch's Strike and discard from your hand or graveyard, negate that special summon monster's effect. And if you do, send it to the graveyard during the end phase. And so I really like this again. It kind of connects back to the girl here who became a Darklord. So it's a kind of a cool way to get to her. And the first card we showed can indirectly get to this as well through the other maiden. So it's kind of cool how they kind of loop back around. And an extra monster that you can normal summon that has something that can come later. Alright, now here we go here. Darklord Forbidden Contract, a quick spell card. I like that image there, that was some nice art. Let's see, you can fusion summon or link summon one Darklord monster from your extra deck by shuffling up to 3 Darklord monsters from your graveyard back into the deck. The special summon of this monster cannot be negated. You cannot special summon monsters except Darklord monsters this turn you activate this card. You can only activate one Darklord Forbidden Contract once per turn. So this is basically would be our new R version of a branded fusion, kind of backwards though. You're gonna fusion summon or link summon by shuffling back into the deck. So it's kind of cool. Again, I want us to move away from other archetypes just to make Darklords good. And I think this would help out a lot. Plus, it's searchable with the Forbidden Maiden. And in here, well actually here is our actual true branded fusion, but it has an interesting cost. So we have Deal with the Darklord, so the ultimate card here, right? A normal spell. Let's see. Oh, I messed that up. I'm gonna come back to that. Let's see. Anyway, so these are the cards from yesterday. So this one was pretty cool, no update for him. Darklord Disaster. This one was pretty cool as well. I liked him a lot. You can see his effect there. And then we have Darklord Sinful Christia. Again, still okay. And on this one, I actually did a update to this one. So I changed her name first off to Perfectiona. But my friend was like, you can spam this card. I was like, oh, you're right, let me fix that. So we changed her attack and defense to be 27 across the board. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can reveal this card in your hand. Special summon it. So that way you can't just spam this every turn. I forgot to mention once per turn yesterday in my yesterday's video. So in this case, it still achieves the same effect of not getting your cards ashed or called by the grave. That's like one of the huge weaknesses of Darklord. If you get hit by ash, it's pretty much over. So this card basically will prevent you from getting ashed or negated. So we see for the rest of this turn, the activation and effects of your Darklord cards cannot be negated. Good. I hate trying to start my turn and I get ash and that's pretty much it for the whole duel. We also updated our prints here. So this card is always treated as Darklord Morningstar. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add one Darklord card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So this is good, obviously, to fix any kind of breaking that you might have, which is a common problem for Darklords. Let me continue here. If this card from your hand or field, I messed up the text there again. If this card is from your hand or field sent to the graveyard by a Darklord card effect, you can special summon one Darklord monster from your graveyard, right? While this card is face up on the field while you control another Darklord monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you do not have to send Darklord monsters from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate Darklord trap card effects. So that one I had to change by updating it to trap card effects. And so, versus like, I had it yesterday as card effects, so that way the traps can be more useful, and as long as it keeps face up on the field, that's good. So, I definitely agree that this is a good card. It helps you from getting unbricked, and then just a little bit of protection and use your other cards too. We have Darklord Twilight Star. Let's see here. We have the requirement is 1 Morning Star and 2 Darklord monsters. So I only had 3 fairy monsters, I think it was, or 3 Darklord monsters. I decided to go ahead and make a Darklord Morning Star just because the effect is really strong. So here we go. Once during either player's turn, if your opponent activates a card in response to Darklord card effects, you can banish that card face down, and if you do, negate its effect. You can only special summon Darklord monsters the turn you activate this card. If this link summon card, that's the part I was missing yesterday, if this link summon card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, your opponent must discard 1 random card from their hand or banish 1 card from their extra deck face down. And if they have any other cards in their hand, you can special summon this card next turn. Okay, so the problem was it was a little too free and not restricted enough. And so the Morningstar, the Darklord Morningstar, that's going to be your first requirement. And then the link summon part is the important part as well, okay? So you can't just spam, like bring it back a second time. Let's see here. And then lastly, I think this is the last one again? Yes. So we updated her as well to make sure this is running right now. So she is a level 11 Condemned Darklord of the Fallen. And let's see here. We have 1 Condemned Darklord plus 2 Darklord monsters requirement. So again, this is another extra deck monster requirement like Twilight Star. Let me just read her effect real fast. When this card is fusion summoned, gain 500 life points for each fairy on either player's graveyard. Once during either player's turn, you can special summon up to 2 Darklord monsters from your hand or graveyard, ignoring their summoning conditions. So yesterday my friend was like, you can keep summoning monsters and negating my stuff, that's not fair. So I was like, you know what, that's probably right. So up to 2, and ignoring their summoning conditions so you can get your first Darklord back. Anyway, then you can negate 1 card on the field. There we go. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn except for Darklord monsters when you activate this card's effect. Here's another one. If this fusion summons card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you can draw cards up to the number of Darklord monsters with different names used to fusion summon this card. You can only control 1, so that's another one as well. You can control 1 of her, you can only summon 1 of her, and the other restriction, it has to be fusion summoned to get this effect. You know, it wouldn't be fair to keep bringing her back and doing all that, right? So I think that's pretty good. So we updated her from yesterday's video, so it's more fair, I think, but it still accomplishes what it needs to accomplish. Now, let me go back up here to that spell card that I had an issue with. I forgot to put the proper text on, so we're going to go ahead and get the proper text for it, and give me one moment, okay? Okay, we are back. So this card is called Deal with the Darklord. I really like the art, I think it's really cool. And basically, this is going to be a nice way to fix, yet again, any kind of problems we may have. So, reveal 3 Darklord cards from your deck. Monster, Spell, Trap. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to add to your hand, then you send the rest to the graveyard. This is really important, guys. And so, you get 1 card that you'll need, obviously, and the other 2 cards could be cards to unbrick you and to help you keep playing so you don't sit there looking silly. Anyway, you cannot summon monsters except for Dark Fairy monsters for the rest of the duel the turn you activate this card. So it's a very, it's a high reward, obviously a risk if you want to play other things like Branded or Runic or something like that, but again, this is for Darklords, guys. While this card is in your graveyard, banish all non-fairy monsters you control. You can only activate 1, obviously, so basically the deal here, you would play this, your opponent picks 1, and any other cards go to the graveyard, spell, trap, or monster. And then, and this will help with like extra resources because the cards you're sending likely, regardless if you add them to your hand or not, are probably going to be really helpful for you, and it helps you keep going. So I 100% agree with this kind of card, and I also agree that for the rest of the duel, you're locked into just Darklords, right? So if you guys liked today's video, please like, comment, subscribe. I read all your comments. I put a lot of thought into these cards. I really hope Konami will make some more Darklords soon. I mean, obviously, guys, I had a lot of fun making these, but I would really like if they made some more too. And I'm going to send this to them. They need to know that there's some demand out here for new Darklord cards, guys. But alright, everybody, until the next time, you take care, okay? Bye!